So, I've written the script more than once. I originally planned on showing that how in the 12 movies and 9 series, plus specials and shorts and kids series, Star Wars has had more failures than successes. But you can watch so many videos on that, and I don't want this to be a generic video. Honestly, the quality of the content isn't the only reason why Star Wars sucks. But before we get into it, I just want to mention that Empire Strikes Back is one of my tied favourite movies of all time. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and up until last year, I was watching everything Star Wars released. I used to defend the franchise with all my heart and try to get everyone I know to watch it. The watch order we used to do is 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, then Clone Wars, which is when we'd stop the watch through. This is because after the original trilogy, it all goes downhill. Well, after Empire Strikes Back, it all goes downhill. Yes, Return of the Jedi. This is a good movie. Yes, there's great content after the OG trilogy, but the amount of bad content you have to watch to get to it is insane. Up until recently, the prequels were widely hated. Of course, this changed as things only got worse. So, in my watch-throughs, we hadn't seen any worse. This meant the prequels still weren't good. The Clone Wars is an amazing show, but to get to the good episodes, you go through 2 seasons of not so great episodes. How would you get someone who isn't a massive Star Wars fan to watch that amount of TV? In just season 1 of the Clone Wars, there are 22 episodes, each 20 minutes long, which is 440 minutes of TV, otherwise known as 7.33 hours of TV. In those 7.33 hours of TV, there's around 2 hours of actual good content. Any ordinary person would give it a pass, especially after the previous 2 movies. Now, obviously, Revenge of the Sith is loved, but there's no doubt that the writing was, well, bad. The number of memes that have been made from that movie is insane. And to briefly talk about the new live action shows, yes, season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian are a masterpiece, but other than that, there is nothing that you can defend. There are good scenes or a good episode in every show, but that doesn't make it good. You can't have most of the show be bad. So let's get into why Star Wars really sucks. First, everything ends up connected. A show like The Mandalorian could have been standalone, but the so-called brilliant minds of Star Wars has to make a massive cinematic universe on a streaming app, like Marvel, and have crossovers and cameos and forget about the quality of the show itself. They make quantity, not quality. But why is this? I think that a big reason is the mind behind Star Wars. The ones I'll talk about are George Lucas, Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni. Of course, without them there would be no Star Wars, but with them there's also so much failure. Let's start with George Lucas. George has the brilliant idea to create this wacky franchise, and he chooses to start from the 4th movie. Doesn't matter what he said, what anyone said, but my personal opinion is that he knew that the original trilogy was so much better than the prequel trilogy, and if he started with the prequels, no one would watch Star Wars, and it would be an all-over flop. So instead, start in the middle of the story and go back to the beginning, hoping that hype brings it up. Then, the movies still make money, so the quality really doesn't matter. Next, Kathleen Kennedy. We all know everything she contributes to turns to let's keep this PG. Her input ruins everything. She's the reason that arcs like the Ahsoka arc in Season 7 of The Clone Wars was terrible. She wanted new, strong, female characters. And obviously that just isn't a good idea. Rather create a good female character than force the creation of a powerful feminist one. Also, let a creator make their own characters up, and stories up. That's how they will make something good. Besides by which Kathleen Kennedy still to this day does not realize that some of the best and most loved characters in Star Wars are female, not because they are big and strong, but because they are good characters and weren't just created for show. And of course, all the creators have to listen to her as well. she's the head of Star Wars. Next, Jon Favreau. Now, Jon is a brilliant writer and director. He's made some of my favorite movies. But he got too ahead of himself. Of course, after all his experience in Marvel, he announces no end to The Mandalorian, following the same route as Marvel, going for quantity over quality. Then he makes series like The Book of Boba Fett, which is just there as a filler and part of making a big universe. Great character, great potential, terrible show. The only good episodes are the Mandalorian episodes, which didn't even have Boba Fett in them, and they were filled with cameos. And finally, the so-called superstar Dave Filoni. Obviously, he's created some of the best Star Wars to date. But come on, he's also made some of the worst. He always tries to bring in the old characters and make everything connected. He can't let characters die as well. But, that's actually just a Star Wars problem. And he can't keep his original characters out of the spotlight. He also is very good at writing live action shows, as they just become cameo fests in the bad shows with bad writing. Now, I just want to quickly say, with all the rumors of Kathleen Kennedy standing down, most people want Dave Filoni to step up and become the new head of Star Wars. I disagree. I personally want Sam Witwer to be it. This video isn't about that though, and I promise I'll make a whole new video on why I believe the brilliant Sam Witwer should be the head of Star Wars. So, I want to go through how Star Wars could suck less. First, stop making everything connected. Make more standalone projects, and keep them standalone. Not everything has to be one story. Second, start listening to the fandom. The Star Wars fandom can be horrible, difficult, and hard to please, but at the end of the day, they are the ones watching Star Wars. They're the ones engaging with it. If they want live-action Clone Wars, give it to them. Don't spend your time making sequels that no one asked for. Third, stop getting our hopes up. We have hope for every single project. We watch every single project, and we get disappointed. So obviously the one time you actually release something good will be the one time we tune out. You need to build trust with us again. It's okay to occasionally have a bad movie or show, but when it's every or most times, that's not okay. And finally, open up to more creators and ideas. Did you ever expect Rogue One to be such a massive success? Well, it was. And that should have taught you that if a project is unique, feels different, but still feels like Star Wars, people will tune in. Star Wars can still be original, and that's what's needed. We don't need useless spin-offs with bad stories. Personally, my idea for a new show would be based off a clone like Commander Bly following Order 66 and the execution of Ayla Secura. They were so close, and you could have an amazing show based off the PTSD which unlocks his true self again. It's almost like TV based off War and Peace TSD can be, well, really good. As for a movie following the hallway scene in Rogue One, I'd love to see a horror film based off Darth Vader as he fights his identity of Anakin Skywalker and really becomes Darth Vader. Now, I know comics follow this, but we all know that comics keep getting decanonized. Anyways, I hope you learned something from this video and can understand why I believe Star Wars sucks. My goal is to make this video the biggest Star Wars video of all time, so please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, leave a comment with your thoughts, and share this video with your friends. I will be talking more about Star Wars in the future and hope to see you all supporting me. I love you guys. Have a great day.